afternoon and good evening to you, the owner of a tube. That was the longest intro to a Q&A Wednesday ever. I hope you didn't fall asleep, and I hope it wasn't boring. Let's get to question one, shall we? Okay, so question one today. Have you ever used software to emulate amps like Guitar Rag, I don't know what that is, or Amplitude, etc. And is it possible to get a good job for shanty tone out of them? I've never used software like that. I've seen people who have, excuse me, and a lot of people get great sounds out of stuff like that. I have seen a lot of people who use stuff like Guitar Rig and Amplitude, and it does sound really cool. But I've never used it myself. When it comes down to technology and computers, I'm an idiot. It needs to be literally as simple as you can make it. I just can't. I don't know. It needs to be as simple as I can get it for me to be able to work it. 'Cause it just gets confusing to me because I'm a bit simple. So I never used any, but I'm pretty sure you should be able to get a pretty good John sound out of some of them, definitely. So I reckon it'd be possible. I don't personally know how myself. I've never used any of those programs, so I can't like say this, that, and the other. But yeah, I don't see why it shouldn't be possible to get a really good John sound out of one of these, you know, out of Guitar Rig or Amplitude or anything like that. I would say one thing though: if you are using guitar software to play your guitar through, you want really good studio monitors. You want good monitors. You don't want like, you know, your bog standard like £40 speakers from you know, your local electronics store. They want to be really high quality speakers to give you the depth of sound and the right quality of sound. Otherwise it'll never sound right, and you won't get a good idea of what you're actually kind of like hearing if you've got like cheap speakers. So that's one thing I would say for that. All these, I have heard a lot of these kind of like Guitar Rig and stuff. I've heard a lot. I've never really played through any of it, but I've heard it a lot, and they always sound better when they're through a really good speaker. So so that's one thing I would say. But as for, you know, is it possible to get John sound out of it? Yes, I don't see why not. A friend of mine got a really, really awesome John-esque guitar tone out of it. I forget what it was he used, but got an amazing, like a Chili Peppers-esque kind of sound out of a guitar kind of program like Amplitude or Guitar Rig. So yeah, it is possible. Like I said, I've never used it myself. I'm not like clued in on technology like that, so I can't really kind of like say this, that, and the other. But yeah, I don't see why not. You know, it all works and it sounds good, so yeah, why not? But I would say you want to go for something martially, you know, and keep kind of mids high and treble low and presence low. Just keep it kind of very bass and mid heavy, and a little bit of kind of bite, so to say. So yeah, hope that's answered your question. Moving on to question two now. Okie dokie. So question two. What's the difference between the DS1 and the DS2, and how close does the DS1 get to the DS2? When I had a DS1, I've got to say that I don't think it come anywhere near the DS2. I think the DS1 and DS2 are totally different animals myself. I found the DS1 to be very harsh, unless you had the tone all the way off. If you got the tone on the DS1 to about a quarter, it started to get kind of a bit fizzy and gnarly, and I didn't like that. So and the DS2 I find on mode 1 is very kind of muddy and grungy kind of sounding, but it doesn't have a lot of clarity, whereas mode 2, the kind of a mid-boosted mode, is really the way to go with a DS2. I use mode 1 every now and again, once in a blue moon, but mode 2 is the be-all and end-all as far as I'm concerned with the DS2. It's just immense, and I love it to bits. Weird outburst there. But yeah, I wouldn't say the DS1 sounds anything like the DS2. I feel that they're kind of out of the same box, but they're not the same, if that makes any sense. I found the DS1 to be a little bit harsher than the DS2. I think the DS2 is a lot. It's a warmer, I wouldn't say darker sound, but it's definitely a warmer sound, especially on mode 2 with the mid boost activated. It's very very warm sounding, especially combined with, like, you know, like an overdriven sound already, or like another distortion pedal. It's a very kind of warm, singy sound, very vocal sound. Whereas the DS1 I always found was very kind of like, you know, it can be nails on a chalkboard, and it can be quite nasty, but it can be really kind of like smooth as well. But there's always a gnarl to the DS1. It's never I never found the DS1 to be smooth, which is why I got rid of it in the end. I didn't like the way it sounded. It always had these kind of like points and these jagged bits that kind of stuck out in the sound. I didn't particularly like that. So yeah, I mean, I hope that's answered your question anyway on that one. You know, DS1, DS2, they're not really the same. They're at the same place, but they're not the same pedals. I wouldn't say the DS1 sounds anything like the DS2 and vice versa. The DS2 is warmer, the DS1's gnarlier. So, you know, depending on which one you kind of want to go for, really. But, you know, for certain things, well, if you were to offer me one or the other, I'd pick a DS2 any day of the week. It's just, in my opinion, it's just a better pedal. I mean, the DS1's iconic, but the DS2 I just feel is a nicer sounding, warmer sounding, smoother response pedal, and I love the mid boost on it. So yes, I hope that's answered your question. Moving on to question 3 now. Okay, so moving on to question 3 now. By the way, do you like the surroundings? I thought it was very Christmassy having the tree in the shop today, everybody. So yes, moving on to question 3. Do you have any tuning issues with any of your strats, and do you have any tricks to set them up? I don't really have any tricks of setting them up. I've done a video on how I set my guitars up. There's no real tricks or anything like that. Nothing kind of like major or anything. I don't like put banana peels under the springs and you know, radishes under the scratch plate to add tone. Or do I? Dun dun dun! Radish tone. Anyway. No, I don't really have any tricks. Other than the usual thing of guitars going out of tune due to weather, temperature, playing them, you know, other than that, I don't really have any kind of issues. I mean, I tend to kind of settle strings in quite a lot, and I don't restring my guitars all the time, as I don't like new strings. Like, for instance, on my Jag. These strings have been on there for quite a while now, and I like the way they are, because they're really worn in. And they're really kind of warm and fat sounding, and really nice sounding for an amp, so I really love them. But I tend to stretch strings in a lot. I spend a good like 5-10 minutes to stretch, when I restring a guitar, to stretching the strings in, getting them really kind of like settled and seated properly. Other than that, I always have the tremolos flat to the body. I don't have a floating tremolo. I hate floating tremolos because they're a nightmare, because they're a proper balancing act. Because once you increase the tension on one string, you mess the tension up on the other strings, and it just becomes a balancing act, and I can't stand that. It drives me balmy, and I don't ever go up on the tremolo. I always ever dive bomb, so it's kind of a bit pointless. So that's kind of it, really. It's not really, yeah, I don't really have any kind of tricks of the trade, so to say. I just kind of like, you know, apart from the radishes under the scratch plate, especially kind of in-date radishes. When the radishes go off, you need to kind of replace them, because they tend to, like, you know, muddy up your tone a bit, which goes a bit funny. But, oh god, he's hysterical, isn't he, everybody? Ugh. Anyway, yeah, but yeah, I don't really have any tricks of the trade. God, I'm an idiot, Dave. Anyway, so yeah, I don't really have any tricks of the trade. I just have the tremolo flat to the body. I have the springs in the back, I have 3 springs in the back in a line. But other than that, I don't really have any of the tricks, really. That's it, really. I just say, just make sure the strings are nice and stretched in, and push down over machine heads. I really love the old style Clouson machine heads, old Fender ones where the string goes inside so you don't stab yourself. But yeah, that's about it, really. I don't really have any kind of, like, you know, major tricks. So yeah, that's I hope that's answered that question. I'll say I have got a video on how I set my guitars up as well, and this, that, and the other. But yeah, you know, usual tuning issues, really, like, you know, temperature and weather conditions, and playing them and not playing them over a period of time and stuff like that. Just usual things that everyone experiences. I don't really know any guitar that doesn't go out of tune at some point. So, but yeah, anyway, I hope that's answered your question. You also asked, when I teach, how do I balance musical theory and technique? And what do I do when people ask me, you know, why does that note work, and what's this chord called? You said you're teaching your friend at this point in time, and he's asking quite a few questions that you don't really have the answer to. And you said it doesn't feel good teaching something you don't know the answer to. Well, simply put, on this question. If somebody asks you, why does that note work? And, you know, and it sounds good. Like, for instance, why does, you know, if you've got something in B minor. Oh, where's my guitar gone? So, say your key's B minor and you play this chord. You know, and you play those two notes. And somebody says, well, why does that note there on the 7th fret on the B string work? You know, and, you know, you don't know the theory of it, or you don't know this, that, and the other. I mean, I know it comes out the minor pentatonic, but if you don't know the ins and outs of why it works, then it works because it works. That it is literally as simple as that. You know, because it does. Why does it work? Because it does. Yeah, but why? Because it does. Because it comes out of B. You know, it's in the B minor pentatonic, and it works. You know, and if you don't know that, you know, if you don't know that, you know, and it sounds good, then it works because it works. You know, you can get into this black hole really of why does that work? Well, because it does. Yeah, but why? Well, because it does. Yeah, but why? Because it comes out of that key. Yeah, I know, but why does it work? Well, I don't know. Well, what? Well, I need to know why it works. Why do you? You know, and I'm getting all weird. I'm going all golden.
Oh yes, it's the precious fret master.
Anyway, back to reality, everybody. Woo! Okay, yeah, but no, seriously though, it works because it works. You know, I feel like I say it's a black hole. If you dive into that black hole, you get stuck in it, and you know you can get the calculator out and the whiteboard and start doing mathematical equations till you're like, you know, grey and losing your hair like me. It's not why I'm losing my hair, by the way. That's a different story altogether. But yeah, you can kind of like get stuck on that, and I feel it kind of detracts from it. If it sounds good, that's all that matters. You know, that sounds really nice to me. If somebody says, well, why did you pick that note? It's like, because it sounded good and it feels good. It feels nice. And go into that. You know, why do those notes work? Because they do. You know, that's the best explanation I think you can ever give with something like that. You know, why does the intro to Voodoo Child go? Simply because Jimmy liked the sound of it. You know, did he know what he was doing? Probably not. Did he care? Probably not. You know, I feel you can get really stuck in that kind of mind frame of, but why does it work? What degree does that work on? And is it affected by Mars? You know, it's like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You know, it works because it works. It's as simple as that, really. Because you can get really, like I say, it's a black hole or a rabbit hole. You jump down it and you're just going to be forever chasing why it works. If you just, I feel it kind of comes down to just like relinquishing control. Just let it go. You know, and just forget it, and just, why does it work? Because it does, fine. Don't go any further than that, you know, oh, I like that. You know, don't go, right, well, okay, so that's that note, so over this note I can do, you know, forget that. Go, no, if I want to do it. There's some weird notes in there, but I quite like the way that sounds actually. It's kind of really weird and dark and odd, and it's kind of got a lot of tension in it. And you know, technically, those notes don't work. Some of those notes don't work in B minor. That one clashes, so technically you wouldn't ever pick that note, and the same thing goes with that note. But they've got nice suspense to them. But yeah, I mean, it does. I understand exactly what you mean though by the whole thing. It doesn't feel good to you, so you don't know the answer to. I know that only too well. I mean, I'm not a theory-based player, and I don't want to be. It doesn't interest me at all. I mean, I know what I know, and that's fine by me. And that's not a lot. I don't know a great deal, but the guitar and music isn't about that. I don't feel myself. I feel the guitar and the music is more, it's about expression and playing how you feel and getting whatever's inside you out in whatever way you can. regardless of whether it goes to musical theory. I remember being taught when I first went to college, a song has to have a verse and it has to have a chorus and it has to have a middle eight. Who says? You know, who says that? Who you know, if you don't want a chorus in your song, then you don't have to have a chorus in your song. If you don't want a verse and you just want a chorus and a middle eight, you know, that's something, you know, you can do that as well. It really doesn't matter. There are no rules to any of this, and things work because they work, and it is literally as simple as that. You know, these notes work. You know, because they work. You know, I literally can't explain it any other way. I wish I could. I wish there was another way I could kind of like. I hope this is making sense. But they work because they work, and it's like, you know. So if somebody says, like, you know, why does that note work? It's like, you know, it does. I mean, I've been teaching guitar solos to people before, and they say, well, why does that note work? And why did that person choose that song, that note? And it's like, I don't know. You know, that note works there because it works there. I mean, why did Jimi Hendrix start Voodoo Child solo off with? You know, why did he start it like that? I think Jimmy's brain would have probably gone, songs in E minor, this chord's, the E minor pentatonic, I'm just going to bend that. I don't think his brain would have thought about it, to be fair. It would probably have been a massively subconscious thing to do, because I don't think Jimmy ever really sat down and really thought about theory. He was, you know, people like that are more feel based, and, you know, how to serve the song and the music and just play how they feel. So again, I've kind of gone on a tangent there, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope that's answered your question on that. You know, if somebody does kind of pester you to, like, you know, ask you why does this work and why does that work and this, that and the other, you know, and you don't know the answer, but it sounds good and it is right, or it feels good, it simply works because it works. You know, it works, you know, because of that reason. If you don't know the theory behind it, you don't need to know the theory behind it. You don't need to understand every concept of the guitar to be able to play the guitar. Most people, like, you know, Jimi Hendrix and, you know, Eric Clapton and all these players, Jeff Beck and all that, others, they didn't necessarily know the ins and outs of the guitar. They just knew how to play it. And if you know how to play it, and you know how to express yourself, and you know how to make music, and you know how to, you know, really feel what you're playing, and able to kind of like convey that out, that's all that matters. You know, theory really doesn't matter when it comes down to playing like that, because you're not thinking about theory. You're not stood on stage going, I've got a solo coming up and the progression's this, so I can use this scale and I can use that mode and I can use that note out of that scale when I go to that. You know, I don't think that's a very productive way of playing, because I think it kind of distracts you from the ultimate goal of you know, play how you feel, and it's all about expression, so you express through the instrument. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I hope that's answered your question. I mean, it's a long-winded answer, I know, I do apologise for that. But, you know, like I say, it just comes back to simply, why does that note work? Because it does. Yeah, it is literally as simple as that. Anyway, I'm going to move on now, because I'll be on this subject forever, and I've got another 3 questions to do. But anyway, I hope that's answered your question, and, yeah, moving on to question 4 now. Okie dokie, so, question 4. So, this is a good one. Right, let's turn the delay off and turn the reverb down. Somebody asked, could I give a quick demo of the chords from Fleetwood Mac's version of the song Homework? Yes. Quite simply, the song's in F sharp minor, so that's kind of like the verse. So it's F sharp minor. So basically, you know, you just 2nd fret, like power chord all over the strings. Hopefully, you'll be able to see that. Or thumb over the top, thumbs on the 2nd fret on the E, low E, and the rhythm is really cool. So that's your verse. It's just an F sharp minor chord. And then there's a bit where Peter Green solos over, you wanted to know about especially, which is F sharp minor, E major, and C sharp major. So it's this really cool riff. Which is awesome. I will do a lesson on Homework because it's one of my favourite songs. I forget who wrote Homework originally, but the Fleetwood Mac version is amazing. So you got this kind of surf riff, and it basically just comes out of F sharp minor pentatonic, and you kind of like go in between the 2nd and the 4th fret on your A string, like that, and then you go to your 4th fret on your D string, and back up to your 2nd fret on your A, open A, and then you kind of get this open thing on the low E. This run up, which is basically just kind of a bass run. The 2nd fret, 5th fret, all on the low E, 6th fret, 5th, 6th, and 7th to your B note. So, and then you get to that kind of like middle 8 section of Homework, which is just a B minor. To a C sharp minor, when it says the thing you do is really grand. We all know what he means by that. Dirty, filthy, good gravy. But yeah, so from a B minor, the thing you do is really grand. Yeah, so that's that, and all Peter's solos come out of F sharp minor pentatonic. So up here between the 2nd and 5th fret on your kind of like, you know, that's kind of like 1st position. He doesn't use the 2nd position, but he does use the 3rd one. So down here, so basically the 14th to the 17th, and there's that scale as well. But he does this one. What is it? It's like, which is such a cool. It's just stuff like that, and then. But anyway, that's pretty much the whole song. I might do a video on it. I will do a video on it, just a bit more in depth of, like, you know, the sound and whatnot, and a bit more on some of the kind of like the little licks that Peter Green does and how he does it. But yeah, that's Homework. It's really straightforward. It's just F sharp, B minor, F sharp minor, B minor, and C sharp minor, and then that kind of, which is F sharp minor, E major, and C sharp major. So yeah, how about answer your question? Moving on to question 5 now. Okay, so question 5. Is, are you going to continue the Jimi Hendrix series? Yes, I am. And like I said, I'm a funny man, aren't I? He tries. Used to want to be a comedian, you know, but didn't quite make it. That's a lie. Anyway. My brain! Yes. Get out of there, Dave. I will be continuing the Jimi series, yeah. I don't... At this point in time, I don't know what to kind of like teach, because there's a few things I want to talk about of Jimi, and I kind of need to talk about like technique-wise of Jimi, like and certain things he would do with his pedals. So I might do a video soon on Jimi's use of pedals and how he used them and why he used them and how he would mod them slightly, especially a wah-wah pedal. He does something to a wah pedal that he kind of, you know, is super cool. But it doesn't work on every wah pedal, as I've found. It's really weird. It doesn't work on a Crybaby. It might be why Jimi used a Vox all the time. But this certain mod, which I'll talk about when I get to the video, it doesn't work on a Crybaby. It's weird, but it works on a Vox wah pedal, which is very strange. But yeah, I will be continuing the Jimi series. There's a lot I want to teach of Jimi's stuff. There's quite a lot of like little techniques of Jimi's. Quite a lot of songs I want to teach. I want to talk about Hey Joe. The fact of the intro, I believe, is he plays the intro of Hey Joe with his thumb. I don't think he plays it with a plectrum. So that... plectrum for that. I think he uses his thumb. Like that. I can't do it on Jag. When you have the kind of right sound dialed in, it sounds a bit more kind of right. It does sounds a bit more like he's using his thumb, because Jimmy would use his thumb a lot for, you know, the intro to Machine Gun's his thumb, and every now and again he'd kind of like, you know, flick the plectrum behind and just kind of like use his thumb to kind of play with, and you see him a lot do it. He does that quite a lot. He uses his thumb a lot. Doesn't really kind of like finger pick or hybrid pick. He either uses the plectrum or he gets rid of the plectrum and just uses his thumb. But that's beside the point right now. But yes, I will be continuing the Hendrix series. Like I said, there's quite a few bits I want to talk about Jimmy. So yes, and hopefully soon I'll be able to start my Rory Gallagher series and my Paul Kossoff series. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna have to make it, like, you know, you have to make time to do that. Rory is proving difficult. Rory is very hard to teach because Rory is a madman on the guitar, and he's hard to narrow down because he does everything. So yeah. Anyway, without further ado on that, I'm going to move on to the last question today, question 6. And yeah, thank you very much. I hope that's answered your question. And yeah, let's move on to question 6. Thanks for your question. Okay, so final question of the day, question 6. Do Jaguars sound anything like a Strat? I have a Les Paul. I'm a Les Paul guy, and I don't get on with Strat scales. So yeah, does the Jaguar sound anything like a Strat? Not really. A Jaguar. A Jaguar is its own thing. I mean, it was developed to be basically the ultimate Fender. You were able to kind of like you're supposed to be able to get Telecaster sounds and Stratocaster sounds out of it, and it's the only guitar you'd ever need. And that's why for a while, until Mr. Jimmy came along, the Jaguar was like the Jaguar and the Jazzmaster were like premier selling guitars. You know, they made the Strat obsolete. These guitars did. The Jaguar did. Which is really strange now, considering how cheap the old ones actually are. You know, you can pick them up for like $4 grand. That's not cheap, but in comparison to, like, you know, a 65 Strat, you know, is somewhere in the realms of like 15 to 20 grand. A 65 Jaguar is in the realm of $4 grand, free if it's been messed about with. You know, it's pretty weird really when you think about it. But Jaguars have their own thing. They don't really. Let's go to a super clean sound a sec. It doesn't. They kind of bridge the gap between a Strat and a Telecaster. They don't do either. They don't do Strat and they don't do Tele, but they kind of bridge that gap in between the middle. I mean, if you kind of play something, you know, Strat-esque. Got a bit more of a clunk. There's a darkness to a Jag. There's like a bit more of a mid-range kind of thing to a Jaguar than a Strat. A Strat is a lot less mid-rangey. I don't know if it's to do with the fact that the strings don't go through the body, the fact that the strings are, you know, straight across the top of the body, and they're in this huge metal tremolo unit, and they go over the bridge at the angle they go over. The pickups are different. Jaguar's just a very dark sounding guitar. They're not really that kind of. It's why when Job Shanty uses Jag, it sounds weird. It sounds honky. But yeah, they don't really sound like Stratocasters. I'll tell you what. I'll do a quick A/B for you. One sec. Okay, so this is a guitar I'll get into next week because there's a bit of a story behind it. So yeah, if we go back to super clean, bridge on a Jag. You can kind of hear there's a lot of kind of mid-range and a lot of kind of like bark, so to say. You know, almost P90-esque, if you will. And if you go to a Strat, it's a lot brighter. same thing goes for the neck as well. If you go to a neck pickup on a Strat, you know, I'll go back to the Jag. You can really hear the difference. The Jag's a lot darker, it's a lot more mid-rangey and a lot more throaty sounding. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, definitely the Jag sounds different to a Strat. You can get it to sound close if I boost up the treble, but it's always gonna have a different attack. The Jag, it's not as ringy. The Jag's a lot more dead. A guitar, it doesn't have the sustain a Strat has, so it's a bit more. No, it's very kind of like flat. The response is very kind of like very quick and immediate, and then kind of dies off fast. With a Strat, you get a lot more ring. You know, you get a lot of sustain with a Strat. Whereas, I say, coming back to the Jag quick, impromptu comparison, everybody, with the Jag. It dies off really fast, and it's kind of like, you know, it's very immediate, but so yeah, I mean, Jags do their own thing, and that's why I love Jaguars, because they don't sound like a Stratocaster, and they don't sound like a Telecaster. They have their own sound, which is why, if anybody ever said to me, you're not allowed to play Strats again in your life, I would just play Jaguars. I love Jaguars. I absolutely love them to pieces. They're just a gorgeous guitar, Jag. The only problem is they're very heavy, but you know, but they're just so cool. I love Jaguars. Next to Strats, they are my favourite guitar. They just work, but yeah, they don't really sound like a Strat, but the scale's really comfy. I love the short scale neck on a Jaguar, love the ginormous headstock. But yeah, you can kind of get them close to a Strat and a Telecaster, but they're always going to be a Jaguar, no matter what you kind of do, and they're just so good. You know, when you beast into them, they sound immense. So yeah, anyway, I hope that's answered your question. Yeah, but yeah, if somebody said, like, you know, I can't get on with a Strat, what guitar would you recommend? I would say Jaguar, definitely, because and especially if you're a Les Paul guy, like I say, because the short scale neck, it may just work a treat. So yeah, go and try some Jaguars. You won't regret it. They're absolutely gorgeous creatures. As long as you kind of get the bridge set up right and it doesn't move about the place, they're absolutely amazing. So yeah, anyway, I hope that's answered all your questions okay this week. Like I say, coming back to question 3, that whole thing of, like, you know, why does this note work in this scale and this, that, and the other? Like I say, because it does. And that is really kind of like, you know, that. I mean, it's like I say, musical theory is a dangerous road to travel down sometimes. You've got to be careful with it, because you can, like I say, you can fall down the rabbit hole, and trying to get back out can be difficult. So just be aware of that. I mean, I would much rather be able to play how I feel than play from a theoretical standpoint. When I had a phase of kind of learning musical theory, and I could feel it was taking away my ability to want to express myself, which is fundamentally all I want to do with a guitar, is play how I feel. At any given moment in time, if I feel happy, it comes out happy. If I feel upset, it comes out upset. If I feel angry, it comes out angry. Which is all I want to do. I don't care about being the world's most technical guitar player, technique-wise, and the world's fastest guitar player. It doesn't interest me. I want to be able to communicate emotions through the guitar and communicate stuff like that. So when it comes down to kind of like things like, when somebody asks me, why does that note work? It's like, just because it does. I don't, a lot of players who are feel-based don't think about why it works. They just know it does. And that's literally all that matters. As long as they know it works and it does what they want it to do, that's all they care about. You couldn't stop, like, say, Eric Clapton or Jimi Hendrix mid-solo and say, like, why did you play that note there. They wouldn't know. You know, they wouldn't know. Why does Jeff Beck play that note there? He probably doesn't know. Just because it's all feel. It comes from somewhere inside them. And it's literally as simple as that. So when somebody does ask, you know, why does this work, and you don't know, you say, just because it does. You know, and if somebody doesn't know what chord it is, and you're playing a chord, and you're like, right, we got to go to this chord next. Somebody says, what's that chord? Just say E. It's an E. Everything's E. You know, it's a guitar. Everything's in E. Simple. Yeah, no, I'm joking. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Q&A Wednesday. I hope I answered your questions okay. Sorry about that technical glitch. But yeah, by the way, quickly, if your question hasn't come up yet and you're wondering why your question hasn't come up in the Q&A, I'm not selective about what questions I answer and what I don't. I just go through the list. I'll just up the list, I'd say, in my email. So I will get to your questions eventually. It just takes me a bit of time because I've got 86 emails questions to go now. So I've got 86 questions yet to answer in these Q&As. So yeah. So just be patient. I will get to it. I promise. It just takes a bit of time for me because there's a bit of a backlog. So it does take a bit of time, but I will get there. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again on Friday for another one. I don't know quite what I'm doing on Friday yet. I'm thinking of demoing. Actually, I'll put it to you. I'm going to demo a pedal on Friday, but I want to know which one you want to see more. Do you want to see the Marshall Governor or the Marshall Jackhammer pedal? So in the description, comment section below, tell me if you want to see a demo of the Marshall Governor or the Marshall Jackhammer. I fancy doing a pedal demo, so I know those two pedals people ask a lot of, like, how do I set them up, what else can you get out of them, so I'm going to do that on Friday. So let me know which one you would like to see more in the comment section below, and I'll see you again on Friday for that video. So thank you very much for watching, have a great morning, afternoon, good evening, and yeah, have a great one. Goodbye now.